Christian von Koenigsegg always knew what he wanted to be when he grew up. Like all kids, he had a big dream, but he didn't want to be an astronaut or a rock star or a pro athlete. He wanted to build cars and drive really friggin' fast. He held on to that dream and never wavered. He's basically Lex Luthor without the incessant desire to rule the world, but he is just as bald. This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on Koenigsegg. As Christian Koenigsegg tells it, his need for speed began at the tender age of 5, when he saw Flaklipa Grand Prix, a stop-motion animated movie in which a bicycle repairman builds a race car with the help of some animal friends and wins the big race against a world-class Formula One driver. That's a real movie, look it up. At that moment, Koenigsegg knew that he wanted to start his own car company, but he was 5, so that dream had to wait. Undeterred, he started driving anyway, and just a year later, he took his first go-kart for a spin. To this day, he refers to those initial moments behind the wheel as the best of his life. By the time he was 8, he had torn apart and rebuilt a motorcycle. And just a few years after that, he had a fleet of rebuilt and roadworthy mopeds for sale. That's right, Koenigsegg became a used moped salesman at 15. For Koenigsegg, the hits just kept on coming. He knew he had to get a lot of money from somewhere to start a car company, and eventually landed on an idea that helped him build what he had always imagined. What helped him make his fortune? Koenigsegg became a frozen chicken tycoon. He created a company in which he did little more than buy things and sell them for a profit. In 1994, with nothing to lose and everything to gain, he created the Koenigsegg Car Company. So, how does a guy from Sweden who's new to the competitive market of supercars make himself known as somebody to be reckoned with? By creating a compact, agile mid-engine car with a removable and stowable hardtop that didn't yet exist. He figured that with the money he had amassed in trading bags and chickens, he could find the right people to help him build his first prototype within a year. A timeline he now admits was more than a little ambitious.
Looking back at that, that was, of course, insanity.
He came up with the company's first prototype, the Koenigsegg CC, in 1996. But it took another 6 years to sell the first pre-series production model, the Koenigsegg CCX, which featured the short overhangs, larger air intakes, and mid-engine design Koenigsegg had drawn up in the early 90s. With the CC8S just 2 weeks away from showing at the Geneva Motor Show in 2003, a fire engulfed the Koenigsegg factory. But all was not lost. Staffers who were on site at the time of the blaze managed to save the cars. That's love. I wouldn't save from a fire, not even Bart or Nolan. The fire was a small bump in the road as Koenigsegg rolled on to great success. Guinness proclaimed the CC8S's 655 horsepower engine made it the world's most powerful production car ever. And Top Gear's Jeremy Clarkson was similarly blown away by what Koenigsegg had accomplished, calling the CC8S his favorite supercar in fierce competition. Koenigsegg proved his fledgling car company was on solid footing against older, more established supercar brands. From 2004 to 2006, the company produced the CCR, which featured an upgraded body design. The CCR's twin supercharged engine topped that of the CC8S at a whopping 806 horsepower. And it too broke records as it became the fastest production car in the world. It also took the Top Gear lap record with a time that stood for over 2 years. The next model, the CCX, made its debut in 2006, and while it had all the bells and whistles of earlier Koenigseggs, it was a new direction in automotive superiority for the car company. It was in that year that Koenigsegg truly went global, as the CCX was the first model to be sold in the US. It even set another record on the Top Gear test track, where it reached speeds of 196 miles per hour, and that record stayed in place for the next 7 years. Like an automotive Superman, Koenigsegg was not only interested in speed, but saving the planet, and continues to release green versions of the models he introduces. In 2007, he launched the CCXR, the first ever green hypercar in the world. Sure, the CCXR ran on gas, but it was also calibrated to run on E85 and E100 biofuel. The CCX and CCXR Edition models followed in 2008 and featured clear carbon bodies, 11-spoke wheels, bespoke bespoke aerodynamics and specifically tuned suspensions. The CCXR edition's output remained at 1,004 horsepower, but the CCX's was up to 876 horsepower. And again, Koenigsegg set several new speed records. And a performance benchmark of 0 to 300 to 0 kilometers an hour in just 29.2 seconds, and accelerated from 0 to 200 kilometers an hour in 9.3 seconds. I don't know how fast that is, because I'm American, and I don't know what a kilometer is.
You naive American man boy.
The CCXR Trevita and the CCXR Special Edition were up next in 2009. The Trevita had an exclusive limited run with just 2 cars created due to technical problems, but the car had a body made entirely of proprietary material consisting of diamond-coated carbon fiber. The Trevita and the Special Edition models were very limited runs, as were most of Koenigsegg's earlier models, but they paved the way in design and creation for Koenigsegg's most ambitious model yet. In 2010, Koenigsegg introduced the supercar that would change the game forever, the Agera. Designed with former models in mind, it added to the tradition of a bigger and better supercar with new features including a wider front track, newer styling, aerodynamics, and interiors. It also featured a 5-liter twin-turbo V8 and a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. The Agera was everything Christian imagined his Koenigsegg could be, but being the enterprising genius he is, he knew that he could make something better. In 2014, Koenigsegg bestowed the 1-to-1 on the world, the most exclusive production car ever imagined in the industry. The 1-to-1 had a power-to-weight ratio of 1-to-1. That's twice as good as a Bugatti Veyron. It made 1,011 pound-feet of torque and ran on normal gasoline, race fuel, or E85. The 6 production models made were sold out before it even made its official debut. It paved the way for the next generation of sports car by building on the highest performance standard of any car manufacturer to date. The Agera continued production until 2017, going out in a blaze of glory by cementing its legend on a dusty stretch of closed Nevada highway. Powered by an engine that produced 1,160 horsepower and 944 pound-feet of torque, it reached a top verified speed of 277.87 miles per hour.
Are you sure about that?
Making it the fastest production car in the world. So where does Koenigsegg go from there? In 2015, he introduced the Guerra hybrid hypercar, which utilizes a twin turbocharged V8, 3 electric motors, and gearless Koenigsegg direct drive. So it too can reach speeds of over 250 miles an hour. The company plans to produce 80 of the cars, and even though they have yet to leave the production line, they're already sold out. Christian von Koenigsegg is someone I look up to. He never gave up, he saw what he wanted to do, and he went after it with all he had. He didn't settle for less. He didn't settle for good enough. He wanted his cars to be better than the establishment in every way.
Why would you buy a car from a small, obscure Swedish car manufacturer? Because no one else can do what we're doing. If you want that, you can't get it anywhere else.
Hey, we make videos like every single day. To make sure you don't miss any of those, click on this thing here. It's a subscribe button. You like supercars? Check out this up to speed on Lamborghini. This car has a bunch of aerodynamics on it. You wanna know how they work? Check out this episode of Science Garage. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at James Pumphrey. Follow Donut at Donut Media. You want some cool donut merch? Go to shop.donut.media. I love you.